Well, this is an absolute first, me going live in YouTube. The reason I'm doing it is it's all right, click here and it's all right, there's a message just popped up on me there. There's all these new things that I've never seen before. I'm using Ecamm, and only in the last few weeks have they made it an option that you can actually broadcast a live out into YouTube. I'm used to doing it in Facebook. So I should just back up and to remind you that I'm Adrian Salisbury from the channel here, Pro Video Academy, and we've just got to the end of doing a little mini 3-part video series called The Power of Professional Quality Video. And as I've been going through it, I've pushed myself a bit more than normal. Usually my videos are, me talking to you like this and delivering content. And for the first time, really, I've gone a bit further. I've been inspired. I've been seeing James Wedmore all over the place with his Business by Design, and he's got this amazing kind of movie cinematic trailer going, and I'm thinking, all right, so I work alone. I teach people how to work alone like this and get this kind of quality, and I'm saying, how can I step that up? So I want to just break it down and help you out a bit. You may know that if you've looked on here in the past, I've actually said, ditch your teleprompter. I'm not a fan of teleprompters, but I got to admit, this little thing came out this time around, and I actually used the teleprompter. Yeah, look, it's muscling in already, out the way. I used the teleprompter, and I got on all right with it, I have to say. So, yeah, all is... I'm just checking if these comments, sorry, it should be pulling me comments into this software. As I say, first time around, let's just see. If you're watching, give me a thumbs up, let me know, or say hi. I'm just keen to see whether the comments are coming through into the software or whether I need to pull up. Brilliant, yep, thank you, Rachel, that is working. So I can flick that one off. That's one less window I need to have open. So yeah, we're breaking it down for you. I'm using a teleprompter, which means that I've had to come up with a script. I really just wanted to go through and give you over the next few days some live. So the video series is up and ready. I'll put a link to it in the description. Really recommend it. It's really useful if you're doing video at all and you just want to be able to step up from doing, even like this kind of. Let's show you on this how it jumps across between the two. This is the view I get off the webcam coming through from that, and this is the quality that I get using a camera. So this kind of thing, and that's even live. Hi there, Malcolm, Pinky, hi there. Thanks for watching along. So I'm teaching you how to do this. Definitely go over and check it out, provideo.academy. And just over these live sessions, I thought, why don't I talk to you? So today we're going to look at teleprompters and scripting. Then I should be back on here on Monday talking about using multiple scenes. So the script carries on. I start talking here. I then suddenly appear in a lounge and somewhere else. How to do that and keep that continuity going. And B-roll footage. What I mean by B-roll footage, if you're not sure, is, talking like this to camera, but then the scene changes to something else with the same conversation going on behind it. So how do we do that? How do we do a good job of that? And, what's the sort of thinking behind it? Backing music, I'm going to talk to you about that next Wednesday. And again, these aren't kind of masterclasses. It's what I've done as I've pushed myself a bit further this time around, and I'm going, all right, these are the questions I'm sure people will ask me, so why don't we come out and do some lives? So backing music, and then finally on Wednesday, the finale is, talking about the equipment that I use. Exactly what I've got in front of me. Now, I do talk about that on the video series as well, so yeah, do jump over there. But yeah, so let me jump in. Let me quickly cover some of these points on here. Using a teleprompter then. Why am I not a fan of them? The main reason is one of my friends commented some time back now, and it's just kind of stuck. He was saying, I really enjoy watching your videos, but he said, sometimes you don't seem very happy on them. And I knew exactly the ones he was talking about. It was the ones that I'm using a teleprompter, because somehow it just takes your personality away. It robs you a bit when you're following a script. But I'm thinking I need to use one because I've got 3, kind of 10, 15-minute videos. I've got a script that I need to get out. I really need to be relying on a teleprompter. So I've pushed myself, and I've dug this thing out. I've blown the cobwebs off. Now, if you haven't seen one of these before, that's not great in this light. Let me flick that around. There's a bit of a side profile. So the idea is your camera sits at the back here. You've got this piece of glass on here. It's the same idea as what the newsreaders and that use. So it's a piece of glass on here, and typically in the past I've had an iPad that sits under here, and then that reflects up onto the screen. In fact, let me demonstrate to you with one here. So this comes up on here, and if you can see, and the reason you got this curtain is just to take all that reflection and that out. So my camera's hidden away in there, and what you can see, if I put it the right way round, is I've got my text up in front of me there. Look, how cool is that? So there's the camera at that point there. So I'm looking at the camera, I'm talking now to the camera, and right in front of me is this text. And when I get it started like that, there you go. So there's my script going. So in theory, they're brilliant. And they really do, you know, loads of people will say you need to use a teleprompter, but then that brings a whole load of problems because people go, oh, I'm not getting on well with my teleprompter, and me being one of them. Now, one of the things, because the camera and lens I use now, I can touch the lens, it's as close as that to me. So think of an iPad, the width of that. If I were putting that in front of that glass, my eyes are going to be going like this as I'm reading along to it. And it really becomes distracting to you. It's quite obvious I'm reading. But the beauty is now I've bought this app that sits on my phone. So when that sits in front, you know, I'm hardly going off the edges of the lens. And you can train yourself, a bit like speed reading, to not kind of be seeing the end words on the page. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's how I'm having a go at that. Other things, so we'll talk about scripting in a minute. I won't come on to that one now, but that's kind of the whole being wooden and coming across unnatural as you're reading that script. What else did I want to say? Yeah, the technical side of it. I've used apps in the past. When I had my iPad on here, I bought one of these apps that said it would follow my voice. So as I'm reading the script, it would move. And to start with, I thought, this is amazing. And then I got part way into some of my scripts and it stopped. And I'm just, you know, I'm getting excited, I'm flowing, I'm reading this thing through, and my teleprompter just stops. And I have to back up, say it again. Is it going to move? No, say it again. And it's really frustrating. So I pretty much threw the thing out the window and just said, sick of this. So that's not, for me, I know others that use it and get on well with it. For me, for whatever reason, I just haven't been getting on well with that, you know, the one that you follow the scripts or it follows your voice activated. So I've gone back to this. So there's quite a knack really to setting the speed of it so that it's scrolling at the right speed. One tip I would say is be sure to leave some good gaps in there. So talk, you know, say your paragraph, say your point that you want to make, and then leave a bit of a pause, because assuming it isn't live and this is a pre-recorded video, it's dead easy for me when I pause, let it catch up to when I'm editing, I just chop that little bit out, and it's, you know, way better to do that than it is have the thing run away with you and you've got to reach out and set it all up. Now, with this app that I've got here, it does say that if I have another phone or an iPad, I can use that as a Bluetooth device to set the scroll going on it. I got a bit lazy. Rachel's working with me now and she's sitting here in the same office. So I said to her, just come and shadow it. And if it gets stuck, can you just roll that back? So I am still working alone. I do say in the video that I'm working alone, but I'm literally, a couple of times I've just said to Rach, just stand there or maybe press a button to keep me going on that. So yes, the tech side of it can be a bit of a pain. Get a good app. I think this one was, what are we called here? Teleprompter. I can put a link up to it if you want. But yeah, it works really well, and it's just plain text that goes into it, and you edit it and just double check it through. And another tip is just to make sure you read it through a couple of times before you actually hit record or you know, and do the thing live. So you're just going, right, okay, let me just scroll through. Does this flow? Is the speed right? Do I know what's coming up? And just get again familiar with it. So what I have found is by being you've obviously got to be pretty disciplined with this, and needing to write a script has made me a lot more disciplined. So I'm using Google Docs on here, Google Drive. I'm making up these documents. It firstly allows me to come back to it and go, all right, let's read this through. Am I happy with that? But it's given me a document to work to afterwards. So as I'm going through this editing, the way I'm set up here, I have a separate audio file to a video. It allows me to note them and go, right, this section here is file this and file that, put them together. It allows me when I'm editing the thing to go through it, and if I think, do you know what, I need to cut another bit of B-roll footage in there, I'll scribble a note at the side. So there's been a side benefit really that I haven't had before. I've printed out a document that is the same thing that's gone to my phone, so I know that exactly the wording that I'm talking on here is what I've got on paper next to me. And it became a bit of a side benefit. And certainly if you were outsourcing your editing, it would be really useful to be able to send that across and note next to it what you were doing with that. So by all means, ping me a question up if you've got any about the teleprompter, and I'm going to jump onto scripting quickly and just take a few minutes talking about scripting. Now, as I say, I didn't start from scratch with this. I'm in Business by Design, which is James Wedmore's program. Fantastic. And he teaches in there how to do a 3-part video series. Plus I also got Jeff Walker's book, and he teaches in here and highlights some points as to really some structure. Video 1, you need to cover this, that and the other. So I started with that and then filled in the bits below it. So it might say about talking about your introduction and say a bit about you and things like this. So I can go, all right, let's fill in that bit first and then let's do that next bit. So, yes, there are tips and things that we could be talking about to do with, making sure in those opening seconds you get people's attention and you explain what you're doing, and then at the end leaving a call to action. But there are other videos that will talk to you about scripting. I just really wanted to very lightly come on here and say, this is what I've been doing. This is my experience of using it. So I started out with a framework like that, then I kind of sit, as I say, and flesh out those individual points. I'm keeping a note and I'm practicing just talking it into my phone to get an idea of how long this is taking as well. And the most important thing I can say to you really about this is to read it. The worst thing you can do is write out, bearing in mind this is ending up on a teleprompter, the worst thing you can do is write out a script that is very much written, and as you read it, it's not what you would say. So I definitely recommend that you either say it into a dictaphone, get those bullet points and speak the final copy into a dictaphone or into the notes, the voice app here inside your phone, and then literally just type out exactly what you've said. If not, at least go through that document several times and just read it out loud. Does it sound natural? Is it how you would say it if you were chatting like this off script? It really is important, and more so because with the teleprompter, you've really got to follow that word for word to make it work. When you start to try and go off track, and I was doing it myself a few times, is when it just doesn't flow and then you can't get back into it and you realise you've missed something you should have said. So you really need to try and stick word for word to what you're saying on your teleprompter. So it needs to be naturally as you would say it in conversation. I'm just going to push that back a bit because it's annoying me being right next to me there. There you go, you can see it standing behind. Looks like one of those old-fashioned cameras, doesn't it? Really that's it. It's just giving you some thoughts there, some ideas. Get used to it being, when people say to me they struggle with using a teleprompter, it's really because you haven't written it for you to be able to read. It's no good it's hard to put bullet points if it's going to auto scroll. I guess you could do it and almost have like PowerPoint slides that you could click on from something else. But how it's meant to be used is to set it at a speed, let it scroll, and write it in a way that you can literally read it word for word. Now, obviously, if you want to see in action what I've been doing, I would love you to go over and see this. It's only a 3-part series. They're about 10 minutes long in each of the videos. And I'm really going through the power of professional quality video. And as I just showed you there, you know, demonstrating the difference between different cameras. I'm bringing on testimonials from members of mine and just showing you their before and after videos. They're incredible. So it's all free. You can just go over and register at provideo.academy. There's no .com. I'll put it in the description anyway. provideo.academy, and you put an email in, and then video 1 will be available tomorrow. So I'm going to keep coming back on here, but as you're watching them, you can then come on these lives. It'll be way more fun to be able to look back at this and go, that's what he was talking about. That's how he's done that bit. You kind of get to see the behind the scenes. So I've never done this, as I say, on YouTube before. I thought it'd be fun. Thank you for those of you guys that have turned up to watch this, and look out for more of these. By all means, put some comments below. The real conversation's going on in our Facebook group, Pro Video Made Easy, which is written there. Pro Video Made Easy is our Facebook group. Again, it's all free to join. There'll be more conversation happening in there. It's the first place we're getting going. And Instagram as well. You know, while we're throwing out the different platforms, we've really been having some fun on Instagram, doing a lot of behind the scenes things. So Adrian Salisbury HQ is where you need to go on Instagram, and you can see all that stuff going on as well. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. I look forward to seeing who's been watching this, and pop your comments in here, and look out for another one of these that will be coming up certainly Monday, if not before. All right, thanks ever so much. See ya.